Well, hey there, everyone. And here in the East Coast, it's morning, 10:19, but good morning to another episode of the Zion Experience. We call it the TZE, and we're fortunate today to be having a couple folks on with us, one of our strategic partners, and Steve and Melissa. And we've got Chip, our director of sales, that's joining this morning. So as all these episodes go, and our style is just to keep things light, and hopefully for those that are listening or watching, just to get a couple of nuggets of just an educational opportunity of Zion and Locus and how we work together and our go-to-market strategies, along with ultimately how do we just best take care of our customers and do what our customers are asking from us and for us. So. With that, I'm Chuck Frank. I've been here at Zion since the start, and have been in this space for 30 plus years. So just great being with you all, and I'll turn it over to Chip for a quick introduction.
Yeah, so Chip Steffey, director of sales. Been in the 3PL world for 18 years now. So excited to be here, and turn over to Steve and Melissa for intro.
Steve, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. Hey, Chuck, Chip, thanks for having us. We're really happy to be here. I'm Steve Simmerman with Locus Robotics. I've been with Locus about 3.5 years. I'm vice president of our Global Alliance program. And Chuck, like you, have been in this industry for 30 plus years. So it's great to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So Melissa Valentine, VP of Sales for Locus for North America. Been at the company coming up on 6 years next month. Background before Locus, a number of years in supply chain, but more on the software side of the house. So thanks for letting us join you guys today.
Yeah, awesome, and glad to have you. We've got Jake, who's behind the scenes, and Jake helps us with all this, and so we have homework to do. And I've got a script over here to read that kind of introduces Steve and Melissa, but they do a far better job than we would do. So instead of reading the script, just wanted to for again, all of you that are out there, just to share a little bit of philosophy. We'll kick things off with focus on Locus, but a little bit of background as it relates to Zion and our desires. And so here at Zion, what we try and do is we look at the market, the trends, what's going on. As you guys all know, there's so many shiny objects out there. How do you chase the next and the best shiny object? But one of the things that we try and do is look at the customer base that we have and what are their needs, and we look at the OEMs that are out there and who's doing what. And one of the things that we noticed probably 3-4 years ago was just the opportunity with Locus and the things that Locus was doing. And it was kind of a funny story. We go into a lot of facilities and we see these little Locus spots running around, and we didn't have an association with Locus. And it was like, dang on it, we got to do something with these guys. So it started really with Material Bank. We were down there and saw them, and it's just gone from there. So we made a real effort to get to meet Steve and Melissa and just talk to them. We had a real good visit at Modex, and we just sat down and we were excited with their product. We saw it in a lot of our common customers and great success, and they've done a great job with their software and the operational dashboards that you get on the floor. You see the associates and the operators and the team members, it just works, and it works really well. So we chased them, and we just said, hey, we really think that Zion would be a great fit. And we spent a lot of time on culture and who we were and why we think we would be a good fit for them. And then fortunately, we were able to just listen to their story. They were able to listen to ours. There was a really good connection. So today is just really to thank the Locus team for allowing us to be a small part of their ongoing success and the great things that they're doing. And we're really, really excited about it. Chip's got a great background with Locus, and we're looking forward to that. So we would consider Locus a strategic partner, a key partner for us to drive our business forward and to provide great solutions for our customers, and the collaboration of the two organizations working together. We don't have all the answers. We don't know everything about Locus, but we're very open with our business partners to our customers, and we want that experience to be, we call it memorable. So Anyway, that's a little bit about Zion and our partnership and how we go about it. And again, to the Locus team, Steve and Melissa, thanks for allowing us to be a part of your family and do great things together. So.
Well, appreciate that, Chuck. Yeah, we're excited to be working with Zion. A couple of things. One, the alliance program within Locus's business model on a global basis is a very strategic part of our business. We perceive strategic partners like Zion as critical to our success long term. So we're happy to begin this journey with the Zion team. If you look at the four of us here on the screen, and then you look at everybody else in our organization, the cumulative years of experience is tremendous. And, one of the things that, popped out to the Locus team with regard to Zion is the Zion team has tremendous market experience. More importantly, tremendous customer relationships. I think the other thing that really stood out when we looked at Zion as a strategic partner was your outlook on the market. We've all been in this business a long time, but Zion, in my opinion, is extremely innovative and forward-thinking in terms of the new way to solve logistics solutions for your customers. So that innovation and forward-looking really, I think it is a huge competitive advantage for Zion in the marketplace. And it aligns with our culture. You mentioned culture, Chuck. I remember the meeting at Modex at our booth. Culture was a big discussion. So I think that our organizations align very nicely culturally. We are all customer centric. We're all about adding incremental value to our customers' environment. So, we're really excited about working with Zion.
One quick story, and then I'll turn it over to Chip to kind of dive into things. But it was interesting at Modex. We had Christian Seymour, who was with us. He's the director of solutions, and Christian had spent 2 days on the floor. He's got youth on his side. He's walking the floor. He's got his 20,000 steps in each day. And so the timing of coming to Locus and then the fact that you guys had a nice little, conference room that you could go in and had some water. So Christian sat down and he's like, this is the best part of the show ever. We hadn't even talked to you guys, but Christian was so excited.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the chair and just, take the weight off of his feet. So thanks for the hospitality.
We're happy. We're happy to do that. Yeah, I remember that. It was funny. I think Christian wanted to wheel him around the show in the chair the rest of the day.
Right. We said, put him on one of your bots, Christian. Get on one of those. Just take it around. So go ahead, Chip.
Yeah. So, Chuck, as you mentioned, I've had some great history with Locus in my previous role at UPS supply chain. And so, I know a lot of the Locus history and story, but really would like to hear from you guys. What's the full Locus story, and what were some real pivotal moments for you all in your short but very successful history?
Yeah, you probably could share the story almost better than we could, Chip, just based off your own experience. But I'll start. Steve, feel free to chime in. But interesting story. So Locus was founded by a team that was running a 3PL at the time, Quiet Logistics. And they were very early adopters of Kiva technology. I'm sure a number of folks remember Kiva. Eventually in about 2012, I think Amazon acquired Kiva and eventually brought it in-house. And that was really a kind of a turning point for our founders to make a decision to go out and leverage the learnings they had using Kiva and just their own experience as actual operators to then kind of incubate, develop, and design Locus. I think a key thing on the solution, and I'll share some other kind of milestones and progress along the way, but the solution was developed by a team of operators solving real world business challenges versus developing a technology and trying to find a fit or a home for it. So just kind of a very different perspective in how it was built. The original bot for Locus is actually our Origin bot, which is what we started with. I think our first customer deployment was in 2016, where we went live, and then we've had tremendous growth since then. At this point, we've got over 300 kind of customer sites across about 120 unique customers and 18 countries. So the growth has been tremendous. We're running over 13,000 bots in the field at this point. I think I've lost track. In 2021, we acquired Waypoint Technologies. And a key addition in that acquisition for us was a larger form factor, a bot called Vector, payload up to about 600 pounds, and it just expanded our footprint and our use case capability, which was, just a kind of a great new addition to the fleet. You can see from my background, although it's not entirely up to date, we've surpassed about 3.4 billion units processed via Locus. So, that grows exponentially. We track it every week. So it's, exciting metric for us. And one last thing to add too is just the scalability of the solution over the years. I remember when I started, we may have deployed 10 bots, 15 bots in a building in the early days. And now, we've got customer, I think of one in particular, running close to 1,000 bots over 1 million square feet. So just truly kind of a scalable, flexible solution, which is what we were founded on. So.
Yeah, one thing I'll add, Melissa, maybe two things. Back to your 3.4 billion unit process with the Locus bots, we anticipate crossing that 4 billion mark sometime in September of this year. So the volume is ramping up extremely rapidly. I think the other thing that's important to point out is, the founders of Locus got into the 3PL business. Prior to that, they had been in warehouse management systems for a long, long time. So our roots are really founded in software. And Chuck, you alluded to it before with dashboards and those kinds of things. People look at the bots and they're very slick, they're very agile, et cetera. But it's, the real power of the solution is in the software behind the scenes. And I think that's a very important point, for your audience to understand is, a bot is only as good as the software that's going to optimize and drive it and report on the activity, et cetera. So we've continued to make huge investments from a software perspective with data science teams, AI, machine learning, et cetera. So software is a really critical component going forward.
I think in Chip, I can remember when Chip was on the other side as a customer, one of the things, Chip's got an industrial engineering mind and understands, and in our dealings in when we were working together, but from as an integrator to Chip as a customer, I think one of the things, Chip, that you get it, you get analytics, you get what makes sense, we call them coaching moments, right? Coaching moments are when you're in a facility, a distribution or fulfillment center. Are the coaching moments there as it relates to a supervisor or a lead being able to go do good things, like find that picker that's doing really well, that's excelling, and compliment them, and then get, what are you doing, and take the best of what they're doing and share that with the other team. So instead of that kind of old school of like, you're not getting enough lines, you're not getting enough units, what are you doing, and having to micromanage everybody. So to me, from what I see from Locus, it just seems like those dashboards and the information that's shared, it does come from an operator's perspective of like, man, if I could have anything, I'd have this. And the cool thing is that you guys seem to have that all displayed. And Chip, I don't know, do you feel that same way, that Locus does a great job of taking information and having useful data for the operators?
Yeah, I think, so when we started with Locus at UPS, I mean, they had the original Locus view and the reporting that was provided there. And really, we were fortunate enough to be a part of the team to kind of build Locus View 2.0 and really build those dashboards, at different levels for different people within the organization. So, to your point, you have the frontline suit, you have the manager, and then really even the IT support team, make sure you're monitoring messages and the health of the system from an IT standpoint. And so, that wasn't Locus just saying we know what's best. They took a lot of customer feedback and really ultimately the customer has to be able to use the tool and enjoy the tool and get the benefit from the tool versus just saying you have a tool. And so, really think that what they've done on the Locus View 2.0 really allows you to have the right dashboard in the right area in the right people's hands to continue to make sure that solution is providing value, and other ways you can look at that information. And I like to call dashboards decision boards. So what decisions do you need to make off that within the day or within the next quarter to determine how to be successful. So Locus has done a great job with that on the Locus View 2.0, and then bringing it into Melissa's point on the history, really bringing in Waypoint in that vector bot and the different applications and the way it's being utilized has really expanded the way you can use Locus in a warehouse, not only from the traditional pick and the origin that you see everywhere and the great branding they have for that on the mask, but also, looking at, how it helps on inbound, how can it help from an inventory standpoint, how can it even help with point-to-point movement within your operation because of the way Vector works, not only from the shelf-mounted unit, but also the rack unit that it can pick up and even drop off. So you're always getting constant bot utilization. And so, really a compliment to Locus in the last, call it 24 to 36 months of bringing in Vector, getting it all on the Locus One software platform, to the point, Steve and Melissa made the 3 billion pick. I think it was probably only 2 years ago, you were at 1 billion. And so those numbers have exponentially increased. It's not a linear rise in the volume they're producing. It's exponential. And so one of the coolest was the opportunity when I got to go to their I guess old headquarter now. Outside the conference room, they had a projected constant ticker of all the units they pick, and I liked it so much. I told them, I was like, I want that dashboard for my operation across UPS, and so that was, they were able to build it, right, which was great. And so they're really customer centric in the way they build their software, the way they support it, and also their ongoing operations. But with that said, right, you all have recently opened a new headquarter. I guess, what is the excitement and things to look forward to at that?
Yeah, I'll start. Thanks, Chip. So had new HQ not officially open quite yet. 200,000 square feet of new space for us in Wilmington, which is about 20 miles or so outside of Boston. The new HQ will combine about 5 facilities into one. Keep in mind, we do quite a bit of manufacturing in-house. It consolidates manufacturing and testing and kind of a number of other pieces of our business all under one roof. We'll have about 9,000 square feet, I think, of demo space and a kind of a world-class customer experience center. So a lot of things we're excited about due to open really kind of early fall for us. So we're actually in process of making the move and migrating things over as we speak. So looking to host a number of kind of customer events and activities there. And I know we'd obviously love to host your team soon there as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting move. We're going to get great visibility off the freeway. You can't help but drive up and down 93 in Massachusetts and not see the Locus logo up there. But from a sales marketing partner engagement perspective, Melissa touched on it. It's all about the customer experience. The whole theme of the building is about the customer experience. And I can say without a doubt, I bet our engineering and our manufacturing teams are the happiest groups in the organization to have some space to expand and grow, et cetera. But it's interesting when we take customers and partners through our facilities, our demo floor. We always take them through the final assembly and testing stage from a manufacturing of the bot perspective, and they're fascinated by that. So it's going to be a great facility, and we look forward to hosting Zion in the very near future.
Yeah, no, that's extremely exciting. And, one thing that would be interesting, as you were talking about, you're expanding your demo floor, within that new headquarter, I guess taking that into, what are some of the applications that you all are demoing through that facility, and, how would that then, show that existing or prospective customer of new applications are really where you all fit best in the warehouse?
Yeah, great question. I'll say intention with the demo space is to be able to showcase all the different kind of applications and use cases with the different form factors. So things you'd expect around kind of picking, put away, returns, interleaving of functions, point to point. I'm sure I'm missing some things, but to showcase all the kind of the different use cases. Locus is such a visual application that just getting a customer on the floor, interacting with the bots, seeing them live, how they move, how nimble they are, how easy it is to use the interface. It's highly intuitive. We love to get folks out on the floor and within 10, 15 seconds, they're actively picking or putting away, just kind of following the workflows. So that's always fun. We'll have a number of different kind of product profiles, different products, kind of in the demo floor itself to show the versatility of kind of what we're picking or putting, whether it's, a small cosmetic item to a, larger case. So really give folks a opportunity to get hands-on with the product.
Yeah, I would say that there's a gee whiz moment for a lot of our visitors to our facility. I mean, we want our visitors to engage with the technology. It's an iPad. Everybody knows how to use an iPad, touchscreen, et cetera. But I agree with Melissa that when we get visitors and they see bots whizzing by them, it's one thing to see the bots in videos, et cetera, online, but when you're on the floor and you see bots, dancing around and moving past you and in between people, et cetera, the reaction on visitors' faces is just tremendous. But again, getting hands on the technology, that's what we're all about, is showing the ease of use and the value to the customer. And I want to touch on one thing, Chip and Chuck, is we always talk about sort of the hard savings, the ROI, the productivity increases, et cetera. There are tremendous soft savings, as we call it, with our solution. We, with our partners and customers, significantly change the way that a typical warehouse operator works. I'm no longer pulling a heavy cart around a 400,000 square foot facility. I'm not wearing an RF device. I'm not wearing a voice headset. I'm not pulling a double pallet jack. The fact that our bots work collaboratively with the associates on the floor, really making their lives extremely, extremely easy, safe. We hear the feedback all the time that, when associates go home today after a day with the bots, their backs don't hurt, their feet don't hurt, and they don't dread getting up the next morning having to pull that cart or pallet jack around the facility. So I think that soft savings and the impact on the associates on the floor is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, I would echo those statements. We saw a lot in our experience with, the accounts we all used your application in of, it also just gave people back a work-life balance. Unfortunately, usually during peak periods, it's 12 to 14, if not more hour days. And, those are usually during holiday seasons where people want to be at home with their family or doing other things. And so, what we saw is because of the scalability and that ease of deployment, it was easy to ramp up robotics. It was easy for new employees that we brought in on a temporary basis to be productive, because of the interface and the way it was very intuitive to know what you needed to do to interact with the bot. People were able to go home on an 8 to 10 hour day and spend the evening with their families and go to those different holiday events. And so, I really echo those statements. I think the other thing, too, is from your standpoint is you all, really started making your place, from a brownfield standpoint, right? You went into existing operations and immediately increased productivity and accuracy and employee enjoyment across the board. But I would also, I think people need to really shift their focus to also Locus as a greenfield application. We did a lot of work with you guys when we had new solutions or new opportunities coming to us, and how can we really optimize the way we did Locus? We had one account where we had to build, I want to say it was 15-foot wide aisles, which any warehouse, engineer or operator would tell you, you're killing space, you're spreading everything out. What are you doing? But within about a 40,000 square foot account, I think we were running 100 plus bots picking over 80, 90,000 lines a day. And it was because of our work collaboratively on the solution on a greenfield application. It was a very low cost solution because of the RAS pricing that of how you all work, and the way we were able to stage bots and really release that order flow to optimize the missions that those bots created. It was this amazing solution that our customer has been extremely, extremely happy about. And so I think those are things too that, as Locus evolves and continues to build forward and build the not only the use factors right between origin and vector, but really the software side is exciting from the outlook, and then what you all can show within the new headquarters and really innovation as you move forward.
You're spot on, Chip. One of the most amazing things that I've experienced in my 3+ years here at Locus, working with partners like Zion, and I call Zion in particular in this situation because, the world has changed, right? We're not designing DCs the way we always have. We never had bots before, right?
Right.
So customers are coming to you saying, look, I don't want to bolt anything to the floor anymore. We had one customer that referred to our bots as liquid conveyor, and I thought it was a great line. in terms of how we can queue up the bots, travel with the bots, et cetera. I thought it was a great way to describe it. So again, I think that's part of the appeal to Locus and working with Zion is the Zion team in conversations with us, and even your website, your social media posts, et cetera, are exhibiting, hey, there's a new world out there. You got to think about operations differently. So to your point, Chip, a 15-foot aisle is ludicrous in most environments, but if you can drive the productivity and the savings and justify it, why not? So I think it's terribly exciting, and I think you guys are at the forefront of all this new design.
Yeah, so to that point, I guess, where do you all see, kind of describe us what your future roadmap is for Locus, where you're going maybe even from a bot or a software standpoint?
Yeah, I can start. So obviously a lot of dollars going into our roadmap and R&D spend, an important area of the company. We continue to kind of invest and improve on the solution. A lot of focus on software side where investments are being made, obviously hardware as well. And there's kind of 4 key overarching initiatives that kind of make up the roadmap right now. The first goal is about harvesting and using kind of all the data that we collect and create to just further optimize the solution. And a lot of that is then kind of reported back and visualized through our new Locus Hub release, which we can talk a little bit about. The second bucket of initiatives is around helping sites, especially larger ones, from a hardware and software perspective, and making it easier to run fleets of hundreds or thousands of bots. So there are number of improvements being made there. Our third goal is just around optimizing new use cases. We obviously integrated Vector into the fleet. We're continuing to add, additional kind of workflows and use cases and build those out. And then the fourth goal, which is particularly interesting, is around productivity improvements, how to help sites eke out incremental productivity gains, leveraging the assets from us they already have. And there's a number of initiatives around that. I'm happy to get into more detail. I'll say even thinking of, so there's obviously a large technology investment in the roadmap, but when you think also of incremental productivity gains, just worth noting for the audience is we've got a large customer success organization, and one arm of that org, is dedicated to kind of site optimization and continuous improvement, and that's part of the package as our RAS, or robots as a service offering. And a commitment we have to our customer base to, look at the solution, look at the site and the operation, see how do we keep improving it over time. Just wanted to call that out. And then, the work we've been doing with Locus Hub continues to leverage what we've been doing with kind of AI and ML stuff to really provide a framework to visualize data, kind of predict future requirements, make recommendations, alert operations to issues before they even happen. It's a kind of highly extensible platform, and we're really proud of it. So, Steve, anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, I think that investment from a software perspective is really critical. We talked about that earlier. And I think fundamentally, I still continue to read. We all read in the business journals, et cetera, the logistics, magazines, et cetera, online posts. Labor continues to be, the major factor that customers are looking to optimize and reduce labor costs, et cetera. This is a global phenomenon. It's not just U.S. And I always talk about the labor shortage or lack of availability of labor. I think a lot of conversations tend to focus on the warehouse floor. And yeah, that's where most of the people are, where most of the labor hours are being spent. But when you start to think about labor constraints and issues, et cetera, it's an organizational wide issue. So one question I ask when I go with partners to go visit prospects is, what is the ratio of temp to full-time? It's typically the opposite of where they would like it to be. And if you think about operating an environment with tremendous number of temp workers, that puts a tremendous toll on the entire organization, end user organization. My leads, my supervisors have to spend time training these people on a continuous basis. HR and others are interviewing people on a continuous basis. It's hitting the financial side of the house. I mean, if you look at the true cost of labor challenges in an organization, it's pretty massive. And I always remind people that it's not just distribution centers. I mean, you look at, whatever town you live in, every restaurant, service organization is struggling to find workers to work in those environments. So the fact that labor is going to be the driving factor, we're continuing to focus our software and our technologies on continuing to squeeze out savings from a labor and productivity perspective.
Yeah, and just to hit on the software side, and you were talking about the labor availability, I think what you all have done from your your language portfolio that can be used across multiple different languages, right? Saw a lot of benefit from that of making our warehouse employees feel more included, right? When they're from different countries and speak different languages, and English is maybe not even their second or third language. It's way down the list on them, but they wanted to feel that they can be a part of that community within that warehouse. And so being able to, by user, determine what language is displayed and make them feel more comfortable in what they do in a work environment, I think has also helped, Steve, to that point on the labor side of expanding, that labor workforce that you can go after and make productive again very quickly in your operation. So,
well, again, and I think that's just one small piece of how we can deploy so rapidly, with partners like themselves, and really get that customer to the value realization stage. By eliminating that language constraint, by and large, it really helps with the implementation.
We've got about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna shut her down just out of respect for time. But a couple of closing questions. Well, the first one would be is that when you go to Modex and ProMat, you guys had a great booth, and you've got a lot of prospects that come in, and there's so many things to see. There's so many new technologies, right? It's confusing. It's confusing for someone like ourselves that's in this space every day on like what makes sense. So I feel like it just Chuck speculation gets me in trouble sometimes, but there's probably a fair of like, even small to medium-sized companies out there that probably assume I don't need this. I might only have 20, 25 pickers or 30 pickers or 15 pickers. It feels like, again, through the tools that you guys have offered, that everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to come in and look and see and learn. And then the tools that you have are pretty good. They're pretty good qualifiers for a prospect of like, hey, if you have reasonable data, give it to us. We can input it into our model and we can spit out, here's what your use case would look like. And then I think along with that, your approach is you're focused on doing what's right. You're focused on putting the bots into an operation. You're focused on putting Locus into an operation that's going to be beneficial. So you guys seem to view it as, if it were my operation, if it were my money, I would deploy or I would not deploy. Can you talk just a little bit about the tools and your philosophy of just all are welcome and let us help you?
Sure.
How does someone get started with you?
Yeah, I can start. So you're right. It's really easy to engage. There's typically a few data points that we need in order to go through a initial modeling exercise just to see if the site's a good fit for Locus. And if it is, the output of the exercise provides a lot of good information. How many bots, how many operators do you need? What's the productivity lift? What's the ROI? And it's an iterative process that we work on together, and an easy way to engage. I'll say, Chuck, to your point, we'll be the first to tell a prospect or a customer, this just isn't a great operation for Locus, and here's why. Or perhaps with a few small changes or modifications, this could be a great operation for Locus. Or perhaps let's look at adding in, put away in addition to picking, and then we'll actually be able to, hit some really good numbers there. So we'll provide recommendations and really kind of exhaust options before saying maybe it's not a good fit, but we are committed to making sure the deployments are successful, customers are successful, and that's obviously part of the process.
Awesome. We're going to wrap up with a fun question. So you two are on the spot, Melissa and Steve. You win the lottery today. Where are we going? Where's our dream vacation taking us?
Mine's quick, Bali. I haven't been. I want to go. I'm worried I might not return if I go. that would be mine.
I have to ask a qualifying question though, Chuck. How much money did I win in the lottery?
Oh.
You won enough that you can go anywhere on your dream vacation that you want and live the rest of your life comfortably.
So I'm sure, like most of you, you kind of have that fun conversation with family members, et cetera, from time to time. But if you were to ask my family, the answer that they would say was, well, Dad's going to get on a plane and he's going to go to Tokyo first. And my whole thing is I'm going to have my iPad. I'm going to buy clothes when and where I land and head to my next destination. But I've changed my answer, to be honest with you. I think there's a curiosity about the rest of the world, but there's so much of the United States and North America that I haven't seen. I would tackle that first. I think there are so many great spots in the U.S. that I haven't seen. So I would do that first, and then I'd look to go to other countries.
Awesome. Both great answers. Well, Steve and Melissa, on behalf of Chip and myself and the whole Zion team, man, thanks a lot for being on, being a part of this. Again, we're really, really excited with the future and doing all we can to propel your success and continue with the great things that you're doing. So congratulations to you guys for all that you've done and will do. And we're excited to be a part of that. And for everybody that's out there, we're simply a phone call away. Our philosophies are very similar between Locus and Zion. We're here to help people. And, if we can help you, we'd love to help you. So just give us a jingle, give us a call. We'll take a look at your information. And as Melissa said, well, it's there either be a play or there won't be a play. And you have our word that we'll guide you and we'll give you a recommendation and our advice. But Steve and Melissa, just thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys. And thanks for being a part of Zion and our success. So
awesome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon.